Welcome back. Earlier, we explored some of the key challenges that utilities and project teams face when it comes to managing costs for construction and capital planning. Now we're focusing on practical strategies for minimizing those impacts, from better planning and project delivery methods to addressing workforce challenges. You'll hear real-world insight, as well as hypothetical scenarios that highlight common situations that utilities encounter. To begin, Jordan Lewis will walk us through how delivery methods and supply chain challenges can influence project outcomes. Her examples might be hypothetical, but the lessons they highlight are very real.
In reference to our first video, we'll be talking about collaborative delivery, cutting costs, and avoiding delays. Great leaders adapt, inspire trust, and keep teams focused when challenges arise. In collaborative delivery, resilience turns obstacles into opportunities for innovation. Collaborative delivery refers to a family of methods: design build, progressive design build, and construction manager at risk, also known as CMAR, that brings owners, engineers, and contractors together earlier in the process. The result? Faster decisions, smarter risk sharing, and major cost saving. Take this wastewater treatment plant expansion, for example. The original design called for deep pile foundations. During the design phase, the contractor suggested switching to drill shafts after reviewing soil borings and past regional projects. By adjusting early, the team avoided steel costs, saved 2 months, and cut crane mobilization in half. The takeaway? Early contractor input during design prevents expensive surprises later. Or consider this pump station project, for example. When structural steel prices spiked, the collaborative team pre-ordered steel before the design was fully complete, locking in price and delivery. This resulted in cost savings and avoided project delay. Savings that wouldn't have been possible in a traditional design bid-build process. Another example, a sewer replacement crew discovered an unmarked gas main. Instead of weeks of RFIs and redesign meetings, the owner, engineer, and contractor met on site within hours and agreed to shift alignment the same day. Work continued without demobilization. The agility of collaborative delivery keeps projects moving. So how do you succeed in collaborative delivery? Invest in training. The Design Build Institute of America, DBIA, offers best practices and networking resources for all team members. Use an owner advisor. For first-time owners, an experienced consultant can guide projects while you learn this process. Pick the right team. Look for contractors and engineers with collaborative mindsets. Chemistry and trust matters as much as technical skills. Choose the right method. Collaborative delivery works best for large, complex, high-dollar projects. And a few pitfalls to avoid. Choosing the wrong team, neglecting training, or skipping an owner advisor on your first attempt can undermine the process. Collaborative delivery, whether CMAR design build or progressive design build, gives teams the flexibility to adapt, save time, and cut costs. With the right preparation, you can turn challenges into opportunities for innovation.
Hi everyone. I'd like to start today with an email that I recently received. It goes something like this. Hey Nick, take a look at the attached transmission main project list for the city's 10-year CIP. They need a quick ballpark estimate by close of business. Got any go-bys you can use? So this request is not unusual, and of course last minute. I pulled together what I could and in about 30 minutes produced a rough $15 million estimate for the city's next decade of transmission main upgrades. Now if you caught our last episode, Lisa talked about what happens when budgets are set this way. Minimal information, minimal engagement, and big problems later on once projects are actually moving forward. So today, what I'd like to focus on are 2 approaches to keep early phase budgets from becoming major headaches. And both of those come down to one simple skill, and that's communication. So first, let's put more effort into early phase budgets. The thinking is often, well, I don't have enough design detail to justify a detailed estimate. But most of what we do in the water industry has been done before. Instead of just asking the one colleague who's, done it once, reach out to a wider audience, contractors, owners, peers in other cities. On one project, for example, a consultant helping the city of Pittsburgh plan a large wet weather pump station did just that. At only 5% design, they connected with other cities facing the same challenges. They learned what systems those cities had built and what they cost. That early insight helps shape a more accurate and realistic budget. Now, I believe that approach can work for more common projects that we tackle as well. Talk to others who've been there before and don't reinvent the wheel. Now, the second approach is recognizing that some budgets will still be done last minute. In theory, an early estimate should be broad, then narrow as design progresses, but in reality, The first number often sticks. The danger is trying to force those costs later to match an early placeholder, and that's when projects can get into trouble. The truth is, bad news doesn't get better with age. If costs grow, acknowledge it, and have the conversation and adjust. Owners and teams can manage new realities, but only if they find out early on.
Another driver of rising construction costs in the water industry we touched on in our last video is workforce instability. 3 challenges associated with this are fewer workers due to retirements and shifting immigration policies, the loss of experience as seasoned staff leave, and competition from other industries offering higher wages. First, inflow and retention. We need people who want to work in our field and businesses that support them. Traditional tools such as school outreach, hiring pipelines, community partnerships, they all help, but are often scattered and decentralized. Hampton Roads Sanitation District's Community Commitment Plan shows what's possible by weaving workforce development and small business support into contracts, then sharing the results on a quarterly basis. It demonstrates care for the people and inspires the next generation of workers. Second, growth and retention. Once people are hired, they need reasons to stay. Compensation studies help ensure pay and benefits are competitive. Mentoring and training may feel like luxuries under tight budgets, but they are essential investments. And institutional knowledge must be captured, not just passed on a one-on-one basis, but stored and shared so many can benefit after veterans retire. Third and lastly, policy-driven obstacles. Our industry depends on immigrant labor, but enforcement of immigration policies has been inconsistent for decades. We may not write the laws, but as leaders, we can advocate with decision makers, showing how immigrant workers strengthen our ability to protect public health and water resources. Here's the bottom line. Workforce instability equals risk. And in our industry, risk equals higher cost. By focusing on retention, growth, and advocacy, we can reduce that risk and build a workforce strong enough to protect the waters that sustain us all.
We've now seen how budgets set too early, delivery choices, and workforce pressures all drive costs and delays. We've also seen how communication, collaboration, and proactive leadership can help turn those challenges into strengths. That's what resilient leadership looks like in practice, turning last-minute budget pressures into opportunities for better planning, using collaborative delivery to prevent costly delays, and investing in people so that projects stay on track. But none of this happens alone. Owners, engineers, contractors, operators, policymakers all have a role to play. When we share knowledge and lead with resilience, we don't just control costs, we build projects that deliver lasting value to our communities.